All right. Real quick, just want to say hi, everybody. Welcome to Pro No Coders Office Hours episode. This would be episode 2013 or 2013, 213. My apologies. I'm your host, Cameron. I'm here with you or with Jonathan today. Before we get started, if this is your next, or I'm sorry, if this is your, I can't read, I'm trying to read the script. Sorry, if this is your first time tuning in. We do office hours 6 times per week. We invite our members onto our Zoom. They ask any bubble questions that they want to say that we will try our absolute hardest that you don't suffer alone. And we get it right most of the time. Let's go ahead today and get it started with Jonathan, the only member in our office hours currently. What can I do for you today?
I guess I've got like a couple simple questions and in regards to what we talked about before with like a calendar and option sets, maybe some in regards to that.
Yeah, sure.
But first off, like just a simple one, I'm wondering like if I have 5 checkboxes in a line, how do I make it so that, only one of those can get selected and then it conditionally turns off the other checkboxes?
Good question. So
Mm.
you have 5 checkboxes. You just want to make sure that you can only check one in this case. So almost like the radio
Yep.
buttons.
Yeah, yeah. So there would be, options to select, but only ones to be selected. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Well, definitely using custom states is going to be the best bet. But let me ask you, so are you married to the idea of checkboxes or would you be interested in using radio buttons? Is there a particular reason why?
Well, to be honest, I don't even understand the term radio buttons and the difference between checkboxes and radio buttons, but they're honestly the same
Gotcha,
to me.
gotcha.
But I guess that's probably the differentiation, right?
Yeah, sure. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what we can do here real quick. So
Hmm.
radio button page. We have a new person joining us. And also, if you don't have a super wide screen, hopefully this is better. Can you see
Yeah, it's
my
fine
screen
for
a little
me.
bit better for you? All right. Do
Yeah.
you just see the window or do you see everything?
I see a small bezel either side to the right,
Okay.
right and left. Yep. But
Okay.
I'm on like a standard 1080p screen. So
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Let me go ahead and get this radio button added here. Well, this should work. We'll try and copy and paste. It's been a while since I've dealt with radio buttons, but the concept is that only one can be actually activated at the one time.
uh, it's crazy. I didn't even realize. Yeah, I didn't even look at that. But I
Yeah,
mean,
no
that makes
worries.
total sense. Yeah.
I'm not sure if we have to. Yeah, we have to set up conditional logic for that.
Hmm.
Is what it's looking like because it's not recognizing that it's all in the same group. So I'm sure there is a better way, but off the top of my head, we're gonna have to be actually. Like I said, hey, first time since I've been using these. So I want to take a look at these choices and what they actually represent.
Yep.
So if we like give it choice 2, choice 3, what does this do for us? Do we have to make this wider? Let's move this all out. Okay. This is going to make more sense now.
Yep, yep, yep.
I guess we don't even have to put it really inside this group, but we can. And it looks like what we'll be able to do is actually add our option sets too. So I went ahead and I
Amazing. Yep.
actually experimented with the months,
Yep.
as in the calendar, that calendar question. So I actually opened up a page and I experimented with how we'd sort of approach it. Um, and I can show you definitely, but let's go ahead and preview this here.
Yeah.
And so now we should only be able to select one at a time, which we
Awesome.
can. So this is going to be the way that you're going to want to do it. You could use checkboxes and you could use custom states that say, hey, when this state is yes, then all the others are forced to disappear or something like that.
This is much more convenient though. Yeah.
But yeah, but this is definitely much more convenient. Absolutely. And while we're here, I do want to show you so we can go to option sets actually. And it's the coolest thing. I really, really enjoy option sets.
Mm.
So what we've done is we've created an option set by the name of months. And we said that each option here is going to have an attribute associated with it. So it's going to have its built-in attribute to display, but here we're also adding a value, and this value is going to be an integer. This can, of course, be whatever you want it to be. But then what we do is we add in our options. So January through December here in this case, we can modify the attribute for each item, and then we'll assign. In this case, I want the month to be a number, so 1. And then 2 all the way to 12 here. And now we're given actual values.
Yeah.
So let me hop on over real quick. Where was it? What did I call it? Where? Because I was just there. I wonder. No, not that one. Oh goodness. I mean, I can show you right now. It's somewhere though. Darn.
It's all good.
Ability to search. We can actually go ahead and recreate it. Really, it's truly not that difficult, and I'm actually be excited to do that. But
It's not date repeating group, maybe. I don't know.
where did you see that date repeating group right here? No, this is a different one. Like with dates. Darn. Okay, I'm going to continue to fidget with this in the background as we continue on with it.
All
But
good.
we did
Yep.
have a new member join us, so I just wanted to go ahead and see where we can help.
Mhm.
Oh, he left. Oh, okay. Well, shoot. Well, never mind. Okay, hey, you and I are here. Let's go ahead and do this. So, what I ended up doing is I actually set up a repeating group, and we could set up a repeating group here.
hmm
So, very simply, the data source, just to show you how simple it, I guess, is really, we'll go ahead and select all options here. And what we should get in a perfect world is in each month's display. So, each month's display. Go here. So you can see it go ahead. It just basically does it for us automatically, right?
Yeah.
And it has that as, sort of a built-in option, helps without having to enter all of the data and everything. They do say though, you do want to be careful with it because it's not going to be the most data secure. So you don't want to use option sets for things that are going to require a lot of, sensitive data. It's really just good for
Yeah.
static
Because
things
it's
like
all
dates.
local to the computer, isn't it? Client side,
In
I
this
believe.
case,
Yeah.
it should be dynamic. In fact, one of the things that we can do is we're able to go to our network tab over here typically. And if we make any kind of form request, we'll be able to see all of this data just here in plain text, basically. So in the event that there is somebody a little bit more technologically savvy than myself, and was able to click a button or have something where they wanted to look inside this data set, they'd be able to see
Yep.
it, and be able to take that information. So you just want to make sure it's like a static, sort of like date or timer, something not super sensitive.
Yep.
But with that, what I'm going to try and do here, I'm going to go into our Slack, because you pinned, or you didn't pin, rather, you posted the calendar.
Yep. It was a little bit complicated going through all of this initially.
Did you set it up on your own?
Yeah. And then we had Pablo essentially connect the API through to it as well. Yep.
That's sick. Okay, amazing. So what we're going to have here is when we click the arrow, it's going to move us a month to the right.
Yep.
So from what I understood here is it's moving us 1 month. So +1. What we would do here is we'd take an option set, and unfortunately, that's not the way it's going to work because it's not our program. Let's go ahead and say that when this is I'm going to set a state on the repeating group. And we'll say I think this is what I had ended up doing. Wait, actually, and I don't want to actually create that because that was wrong. What I was doing right there. I want to find the page that I had built.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is it actually. Okay, this is it. It looks like I got rid of the repeating group We're just going to go all the way back, see how far we can go back. Because it is here. And also, you can feel free to stop me at any time if you have a question that you want, help with.
Oh, yeah. No, it's fine. I'm just sort of, taking it in at the moment.
Gotcha. Last thing that should have happened is if this repeating group was the value of 2, this disappears. Okay, cool. So conceptually, we're able to see that if we're passing in a value to our custom state, that something that we can cause something to happen. So what I wanted to test, because with this calendar here, it says this is a date value. So they're passing in a date value and then saying +1. So I said, well, if we have all of these months and they all have values that are numbers in this case, we should be able to pass in that value as, what we're looking for, which months we want to move through the calendar.
The thing I'm just thinking about is I hope that the number represented by the month is not like dynamic and based on the current date. So like +1 would be like next month, for example, because then it would be difficult, right? Whereas if it's like,
that's right, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, if it was just statically like January = 1, February 2, then I think it'd be quite easy. But I need to look at that, because But I mean, I could just output that value to a text field and just see easily. So.
I wonder. That's a really good question. So, does it specify where it starts on this page by any chance inside the JavaScript?
Honestly, it's been a little while since I've looked at this, so I can't really say off the top of my head, but like it would be there somewhere, yeah. I've just thought about it now. Like I just wonder if that value is based on the current date, yeah.
I wonder, because it does look like it starts in January. And we can't change this. I guess we can go ahead and rebuild this, though. We can take the main calendar and calendar week. I guess we could just take in that guy. Just previews. What's up? Of course, the states didn't copy and paste. That's all right. Okay, I'm missing something, obviously. Let's see here. Is there a page on load or anything? No. This element, which element is it clicking? It's the date time picker. Trying to Frankenstein this together and make sense why it's not working.
Yeah, it says current.
This is where the date time picker is. I wonder if this is important. I should just copy and paste everything, I guess. Okay, so we've got that page calendar example. Oh,
I think
yeah, what's up?
I think my colleague Lachlan might be in the waiting room, perhaps.
I'm so sorry. Yes, absolutely. It normally pops up at the very top for me.
All good.
Hey, Lachlan, you there?
I think he's just joined now.
Hey, Cameron, how you going?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, thanks.
Wonderful. Yeah, we're just trying to rebuild this by copying and pasting, and it's not quite working the way we want it to.
We're just going over using a drop down to select a month using the calendar
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Is there a better way to clone these projects? Is there a better way to be able to take this? Okay, so let's take over now. I'm going to close out of that. Although, you know what? Ironically, I feel like this is probably instrumental in how we would set this up. Repeating group with a 606. So we already have this. Should have the custom state set. Say that it's a month offset state. Is this when we start editing? Okay, didn't see it. Okay. Well, that's just copying and pasting this then.
It would be good if there was a better way to clone it.
Yes, they're not. That's so unfortunate.
It probably is. I don't know.
There probably is. Yeah, here, let me take a second and see what I can find. I've just never had to before, you know? Let's see. Copying pasting is really the best way from what I'm seeing.
Wow.
This is the other left. Right, and then down. Yeah. So month offset. That's why it wasn't working, I don't think. Some state. It's just called month offset. That's a date. You guys see that? And not create. Oh, this is the main calendar offset. Okay, that might be why. Month calendars. Okay, cool. Not going crazy, right? That's the same. Should be, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. I see what's going on. This is probably, if I had to guess, the exact same. Yeah. Month offset, main calendar. Okay, we're making it. They do something, a week offset. We're probably not going to experiment with this much, but wonderful. Okay, fingers crossed that this works now. Okay, Awesome. It does. Perfect. So it does look like it starts at January. Ultimately, what I'm trying to see here is if we change any of this data here, what it preloads to. So I would assume that January would be one here.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go ahead and try this out, starting at least. And this is probably all kinds of wrong, but I just want to see. The same in the months. This is just passing in data. Our date 3. Huh. Well, I guess we can deduce from that alone, though, that it is a value based on the month value. So like January is 1 and December is 12. Being that if 1 was to represent this month, it would load this month, right? Oh, wait, it is January. Oh, goodness, I'm going insane.
Yeah,
It's all good.
Yo, when you work from home, everything just starts to become the same. I promise you.
I feel you. I know what you mean.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, we work from home as well, so it's all melted into one.
How embarrassing.
Yep.
Okay, let's do something though, because we should be able to change our computer time settings.
It does say even just their current date time plus months based on the offset. But I guess that's probably, I don't know if that's just purely there for display.
Oops. Let's go ahead and change manually. I'm sure that's the simple explanation here. I'm just going a little crazy. No, it does sync to the current month.
Okay. Which makes it difficult.
That makes it a little bit more challenging, yeah. I'm gonna change my time back now. Okay. So how would we do that if the current month, so it really would just be like a +1, like an iteration of +1. We could do, I wonder if we are able to pass in the position of those items. Well, I mean, that's I guess sort of what we're doing, but I mean like relative to the current month.
Is it possible to have some form of like formula from within an option set based on current date?
That's a really good question. So let's say that we're going to be taking this value here. Let's just go ahead and, so we want to do a formula from an option set. Oops. So we're given a little bit, So are you saying like we take an option set and then somehow apply a formula to it, or within the formula function?
I'm just thinking for each month that would be in the option set normally, like in order to give it a value that actually corresponds with that month, it would have to be based on, like we would need to know the value. We'd need to know whatever is 1, which represents the current date and month, right? To calculate what it would be. But I'm not sure how you would do that.
You could, okay. I suppose, what do you, like on a page loader, when a condition's true or whatever, you could just set that the current month equals 1. I guess give it 2 values. I'm thinking out loud. Where we give it 2 values where it both equals 1 and then the corresponding value of that month that it is. Because what we're trying to, the way that I'm envisioning it is we'd compare our position to all the other months. So if we want to move it 2 months in the future, or if like we're selecting October, whatever, it's a couple months out, 9 months out.
Yeah, so it should say like current date time plus however many months in sequence it is afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking exactly. It's just a matter of how we would, of course, accomplish that. Trying to think that out.
It's a good introduction to option sets anyway.
Yeah, isn't that truly? Because yeah, we do have the attribute of its value. Huh.
But
So
we can't reference dynamic fields like current date from within that field, can we?
no, unfortunately
No, I
not.
didn't think so. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the concept is we need to be able to count how many months forward we are in this like drop down list, so to speak.
Mm.
So let's go. It was the sorting page. I was doing something else and then got distracted. Okay, I wonder. So if we're able to.
Just to note, this will only ever be future dates as well. We won't want to be seeing any past dates. So all values will need to be, for the future months.
Okay. Got you there. So what I want to accomplish here in this field, basically, I want to show the difference. So, oh yeah, what's up?
So we kind of want to say that the current month's value equals 1 and then count how many months in advance to any item.
Yeah, that's basically it. The current month equals 1, and then however many other I guess positions the other months are, that would be the value in front of it, if that makes any sense. I'm
Definitely, yeah.
trying to think that out though, and I'm going to be honest, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like conceptually it makes sense, and I'm sure it is simple. I'm just trying to think like, okay, so we have this here, this drop down. What we want to do is say when the values change, we can set the state. I guess we're not setting. I guess we can't set the state of the drop down. It really doesn't matter right now. We want it to be a value. Ah, gosh, that's the issue.
It's just like, how do you sequentially calculate months going forward? Like, and then times that based on the number of like sequences. I have no idea.
Yeah. Shoot. So we can't.
It's not modulus, is it? We can't use that.
I don't believe that it is.
No, that's no. Yeah.
It's kind of like for each individual value, we need to create our own set of values.
But that will change based on the current date as well, which is just the weird thing. Yeah. It's just like,
yeah.
Huh.
Because we almost need every month in there, and then have them
each
have an
position,
order.
right, will be the value. So if we have the, say it's January, we know that February is going to be +1, +2. So and then for February, March is going to be +1. So if we created an option, or basically a value for each individual drop down and where the other months are in relation to that. But
Yeah, that's
no idea how you'd achieve that.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah,
because you have to create a value set for each, essentially. So each value would have to have
change based on what month you're on as well. Yeah.
Well, I guess inside the database you could have your months, and so instead of using option sets, you could use the database to update your options in this case. So when the current month is 1, then February's value becomes 1. Let's say it's January, right? Current month is January. February's value is 1, and then if we're in February, our values now is 1. But if we then change March, so on and so forth, that makes sense. That would probably be the way that I would approach it then, actually, because what we're trying to do is we do have to dynamically update the month values. Okay, I'm thinking this makes sense.
And now is it? Sorry.
Well, let's say you're on September, and you +4. Does that take you to February? I'd imagine, right?
Okay, it does, yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay, yeah. So that's exactly what I'd do then. I'd have the current month. Yeah. So okay, let's see if we can work this out. So I'd have a field, I'd have a current. And then I'd have Feb through December, right? These guys would be numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Feb. Did I not? Yeah, January. I forgot January. All right. This is probably how we'd start approaching it at the very least, where then these values, current really, it matters being 1. Okay, so now we have to think like conditionally. So what we can do, I guess, is probably going to be a backend API, to be completely honest. I don't know if it'll be a list or array, because we're only passing in one number. We're passing in our current number. Wait, right, this would make sense, right? So we have a recursive workflow, and what we're trying to do is we're saying for each sequential month, we add the previous step plus 1.
Yeah. From current date. Yeah. Current month. Right. Yeah. Which is weird because like we almost need all months and then for it to acknowledge an order of those as well. And how many spots are in between them.
We need to pass in the month, I suppose, as well, or the object. Oh, this is a real ugly way of doing it, I suppose. Because my next, at least to like brainstorm, because I said that we want to do it by step, where we then would be, we're passing in this value. Oh, geez. Current equals 1 every single time. Oh, geez. Now that we've gotten a little bit further into it, my brain's melted. Okay. Let's think about this.
Is there any way to output a value of a month or any piece of data in relation to its order with other pieces of data in that same type?
So you can do an item position number. You should be able to pass something like that through.
I feel like that would work, but only if the item position number 1 was always the current month. But yeah.
So it needs to, God, we need a reference field to the current month too. And we basically need to specify that the current month equals the current date time. So I guess God, okay, yeah. The way that I'm thinking about it is I guess this may have been set up not the best way.
Yeah, it doesn't seem very cooperative in terms of this function, yeah. Obviously convenient for showing, you know, the current month on page load and stuff, but yeah.
Now the thing is, I feel like what we want to do is completely capable. You're absolutely right. That was an oversight on my behalf where I assumed that it was, you know, January equals 1, February equals 2, and so on and so forth. But current month equals 1. So conceptually, at least we understand what we need to do, where we basically just need to find the position of our month in relation to the list of all of the months and say, how far away is this month? If it's 2, then we move forward 2 months.
Yeah.
And getting there is the only thing that's stopping us here.
Yeah, the logic itself. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we can explore this later if you want, because this is pretty complicated, I guess. Like I didn't really realize it would. Well, I had a suspicion that it might be like this if it was based on, the current month. But yeah, we can have a look at this later if you want.
Sure. Yeah. What I'd probably end up doing myself is spending some time out of this just because it's interesting. Just getting down to the bottom of how that logic would work and how we'd get it to be able to identify its place and then pass that through, and then how we'd set up the database too, or how we'd set up our data just in general. I don't think this is going to be the right way to do it. It's along the same vein. It's like it's in the same sort of way that we want to do it, but setting it up this way isn't.
It's a workaround because of how it's structured currently.
Yeah, exactly. Oh goodness, I wish Tanya was here. I feel like Tanya would know. I feel like Tanya definitely would be the person to be able to put us sort of in a more concrete direction. Like, while this isn't necessarily the wrong way, I just feel like it's probably not the right way. Ooh, wish I could help more on this, to be completely honest.
Fine.
It is pretty complicated.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like you're saying, it'll be good to understand it as a concept, but pretty unique. Yeah.
Yeah, that's God, that's the issue, isn't it? Darn. By any chance, anything else that you'd like to sort of wrap our brains around?
Yeah. In terms of like getting responses from external APIs or Zeno in our case, is there a way to disable those? Because like at the moment, like if there's an authentication error, for example, with an API, we'll get like a response as a pop-up. And we would just like to control that from within Bubble more so, as opposed to an external response.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So like when a token's invalid and then you try to log in and it says, hey, this token's invalid.
Yeah, just
the top of the screen.
Any response that is a pop-up from an external API, yeah.
Goodness, that's a great question. I know that you have the inside the API plugin, you have the ability to disable like the headers and so on. Or what is it? The not the headers. The error codes. Capture response headers include errors.
No, oh, okay. Wow, that could be it. Yeah.
I don't believe. No, that's not going to be it. This is more internal. So like when we actually call the data, if there's any way that I can show, I don't know if we've ever actually successfully called anything. What we would have if we had selected the headers, you would just see you'd see a whole list of like very technical numbers and such that just isn't relevant. So no, that's not going to be it. You could probably control it with JavaScript, but I bet native to Bubble there is a way to do this. So remove Bubble API. What is it? What would you say? Window notifications. I wonder if that's a thing.
Sounds right.
Yeah. I mean, it is important though, so there might be a reason why we can't, at least at its surface, disable it. It does help us, the user or the person running the app. It sort of tells us what the issue is.
Yeah, and what we want to do off that is based off that response, we actually want to trigger conditions, so we can then have like a interactively display that information in the app. So if it's minimum character length isn't met, we can have the input box have a border around it, and or a little error message pop up above it telling them what they need to do.
That's actually awesome. Yeah, I love that. I love that idea.
Yeah, I think it just creates a really good user experience. It's very clean and easy to see what to do.
Definitely. Yeah, I know. I always feel a little bit taken out of the application when that happens. It's like that doesn't seem very native to my application, rather the browser that I'm using. But yeah, I think that would be awesome. We have the API. Let's see. That's just going to enable workflows and backends.
Yeah, I had a little bit of a look online and I didn't really seem to see too much in regards to it. So
yeah, you would be able to, I imagine, with custom JavaScript, be able to tell that window not to actually, notify you.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Would you be able to isolate it to that particular pop-up? Because you also want other pop-ups to still function as well. I would just put a blanket.
It would probably be a blanket to all pop-ups.
Yeah, which might cause other issues.
Yikes, yeah.
I guess the next question is, or I don't know if how much we've looked at how much we can control within Xeno itself.
Yeah, but you're always going to get some. You're always going to get some sort of response.
Hmm.
Yeah, you guys just want to have it to where, though, if it's a bad response to do something typically, correct? Or is it just a matter of like both bad and good response? You just want to be able to navigate the user through that?
Yeah, mainly the bad response at the moment is what the issue is. So I guess the error code that pops up, the error message.
What if there's new plugins for it? I guess like alert window. I'm sure there's a bunch of things that probably not going to be what we want. Yeah, I've run into this issue too. Like I said, shoot, I like the fact that you guys are asking this question though, because if there is an answer to it, that'll be amazing. It'll be absolutely the coolest thing.
Maybe it's something we can throw into the just the Slack group. See if anyone's
Savvy with it, yeah.
Yeah, it's done
or
something like that
Pablo or
before.
Eli know. Yeah, they probably actually, that'd be an amazing idea. Oh.
I did have like another question. It's like actually a very simple one though.
Yeah, sure.
Is it possible to have a header as to be responsive like a floating group and stay floating at like the top of a page, for example? Or would that have to be an actual floating group?
To have the header float, so instead of it not being moved around the screen or anything. It's basically so it's like just sticky nav is what you're looking for.
Yeah, yeah.
So to my knowledge, because I haven't played around a whole lot with the responsive design engine, you should be able to assign things as sticky. I had thought that I had seen that in the responsive engine.
Interesting. Okay.
Now, in the event that it is not in the responsive engine, it is a very easy kind of fix, though, if you will. Really, it's a simple line of code where it's position equals sticky, and then that particular div, that block will stick to the top or where you set it. So
we can just use JavaScript to reference that element by ID and then apply that.
Yeah, if you wanted to use JavaScript, you could. Yeah, sort of a good front-end solution to it, but you could also just use CSS as well.
Oh, amazing. Yep.
Yeah, CSS is probably just going to be a little bit more simple. Just that ID, and then, yeah, position sticky.
ID and sticky. Yep. Cool.
Yeah, my background, I do come from a web design background, actually. So, you know, HTML, CSS, and a little tiny bit of JavaScript. I've always been really fond of, you know, WYSIWYGs. What you see is what you get. So like starting way back when with Adobe Muse, and then moving on to what was like pre-Webflow, basically. And then now becoming pretty comfortable with Webflow and so on. But just like that, you
Interesting. Have you seen the new Webflow no-code plugin called Wised?
I've seen, yes, actually, yes. It was, I saw it probably a couple months back and I really wanted to explore it. I just haven't had any projects to explore it with.
Interesting.
Are you guys familiar with that? Have you used it?
Somewhat, yeah. I'm actually quite interested. I've got a project that we're interested in maybe having a look at. We're essentially wanting to connect a booking engine to WordPress. So we want to have a functional booking page, and then be able to use, obviously the awesome design capabilities of Webflow, but then having like a back-end functionality that's, you're not having to completely, JavaScript or however you get it set up currently with Webflow for those types of websites, which is, I think, pretty hacky from what I hear. So I was thinking Wise looks pretty good in terms of providing that back-end functionality that we're required to actually have a, full API integration and a customizable back-end.
Yeah, that would be absolutely amazing because I love Webflow's design capability, from the animations to just the way that it looks, being able to actually drag and drop and get things going. It's super, super awesome. there was something before Wyza where it was along the same vein. They connected Bubble and Webflow to work, and then it disappeared, and I was so devastated. Like they created it worked for like 2 months, and then they took it off and never again. But good to know that people are raving about this, though.
Yeah,
That's
it seems to be
exciting.
going pretty good. I think it's ranked for product hunts, one of the best no-code tools of the year.
Amazing. That's something I need to deep dive into then. Yeah, it's
Well,
probably
if you're interested in exploring it, it's something that we'd be interested in having some paid work done with as well. If it if you think it's going to suit our needs for what we need to do with it.
You said it's wise. It's like what? How do you spell it?
Wized.
Ah, okay. Yeah, this is the one that I had seen. Yep. Yeah, this looks amazing. Super cool.
Yeah, so I had a bit of a play with it, and I was able to get dynamic content coming through from an API pretty easily. I wasn't quite comfortable with actually the Webflow side of things, and then making it all work in conjunction. The only downside of it is pretty new, so there is a little bit of a lack of documentation out there to really allow you to do it. But if you've got a bit more, just being able to work it out yourself, I think you'd be able to work it pretty easily.
Yeah, yeah, that's super cool. I'd absolutely love to. Let me take a look at it, then. Yeah, we can definitely connect on that. Super
Cool. I can
cool.
send you a message in Slack.
Yeah, yeah, please do. Yeah, this is always exciting. I love the no code tools.
Or actually
They're
about
awesome.
to decide between this or getting it done in WordPress. So it's something we'll be looking at very, very immediately actually.
Okay, yeah, totally understand. Do you guys are you familiar with WordPress, and are you guys looking to, if you were to use WordPress, press, have it custom built, or would you be using plugins?
Look, I'm super open to feedback on that. We just really need to have, it's like a hotel style booking site, which connects to an API, having all the dynamic content flow from the API, including pricing data, availability data, and proceed to checkout through Stripe.
Okay, yeah. I mean, there's of course a couple different ways to go about what you're looking to do, and it sounds like there might be actually a couple plugin solutions in the event it was to be a WordPress site, um, which Webflow you can port Webflow sites to WordPress. So there's some awesome tools to do that I've done before. I've done that for about 2 or 3 clients now, so I'm semi-familiar with it, getting it onto a WordPress. But yeah, we can talk more in depth about this, and on a different call, of course, and go from
Yeah,
there.
cool. Yeah, definitely. I'll show you some details. We can catch up another time.
Yeah, yeah, very interesting. I love this idea. Cool. Yeah, sorry about the calendar thing. This thing is a beast.
Yeah, that's all right. It seemed simple in essence when you said it, and I was like, oh, cool. But then as soon as I realized,
Well, what's going to end up happening is in several hours, I'm going to be taking a shower, and I'm going to be thinking about this for like 40 minutes. Hopefully, I come to a solution.
No stress though. No rush.
Sure, no worries.
Just thinking, I think that's pretty much it for me today.
Yeah, that's
you did really well with like I didn't even think about the radio boxes or whatever they're called. Sorry. But that'll definitely fix the issue I was having with checkboxes.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Good thing we were able to get something accomplished.
oh, definitely. No, that's awesome. So yeah, I guess with the calendar, maybe I'll just pass it on to the group as well. If we don't figure out anything in, the next day or two or something, and just go from there.
Sure,
Maybe it's
yeah.
not possible, who knows? But hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully it is. I want it to be as much as you guys.
Yeah, it's just obviously the user experience to select a month, going ahead instead of just clicking the whole time is pretty optimal. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you there.
Cool.
Dang. Well, guys, I appreciate it. Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and sign off now, just to say thank you for, of course, joining our office hours, everybody, for watching at home. Appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and move on to after office hours that you can join if you are a paid member. And thank you so much. You guys have a good one. Oh.